We're pumping back in the green. In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as the latest on-chain analysts from Willy Woo. I like to follow him as well. We're also going to be discussing Bitcoin exchange reserves metric hitting a 3-year low. Can you say supply shock incoming? We're also going to be discussing the SEC dropping their Ethereum investigation to avoid embarrassing court case. That's right. They're no longer going after Ethereum as being an unregistered security. We're also going to be discussing how Ethereum can skyrocket by up to 4,225%. That's nuts. We're ultimately talking about $154,000 Ethereum coin as per Van Eck analyst Matthew Siegel. We're also going to be discussing breaking news. MicroStrategy buys yet another 11,931 biddies for $786 million. So MicroStrategy now officially holds 226,331 BTC, worth almost $15 billion. We're also going to be discussing Bernstein analysts expect a $200,000 Bitcoin price action here soon due to the Bitcoin ETF inflows, and long term, they're predicting $1 million. I'll be sharing with you the date and the math. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show.
Oh my gosh, it's finally almost here. JV is going to talk to us. Crypto news is near. I can't stand waiting. There is no debating it. I waited all day, maybe I need a light, but Bitcoin is all I can think about day and night. Hurry, JV.
Let's go, crypto fam. Bitcoin price back above 65 G's and in the green. If you're new to the stream, very important to smash those likes and subscribe and hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications. If you can also repost this over on X, it's greatly appreciated. I appreciate it, fam. Also, today is pod episode number 1676. I'm your host, JV, and it's June 20th. 2024. What a blessing. We're back in the green. We recaptured $65,000. Let's check out Coin 360. You can see Bitcoin a pumping as Ethereum, BNB, Solana, and XRP are correcting and in the red. And a lot of the alts are actually in the green, including Cardano, Tron, AVAX, Near, and Litecoin. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is currently sitting at $2.37 trillion. And we have the Bitcoin market cap getting close to 1.29 trillion. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours, we got WorldCoin up 11%. We got Fetch up 11%, and Ajax up 9%. Below that, Core, Near, Su, Ondo, and Rune. Which particular alts family are y'all most bullish on for this particular bull? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles to get a visual perspective on the daily. Good to see the majority of the market back in the green, only a handful in the red, but zooming out on the monthly for a broader perspective and a polar opposite. The majority in the red, maybe 5% if that, even in the green. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, today we're down to a 60. Yesterday was a 64, last week a 70, and last month a 76 in extreme greed. So there you have it, family. Let me know where you feel the Bitcoin price action will likely take us over the course of this month. We got less than 2 weeks to go. And tomorrow is a big day, Friday. Supposed to be a full moon, big celestial event occurring. Let me know if you're bullish on that. Holla at your boy. Welcome everyone just joining the stream. Stefan, what it do? Good to see you guys. 369 Bitcoin fine. Come on, baby. Sat it to me one more time. Buy low, buy low, buy low. Hey. Yeah, there you go. Are there any hence we touch chance 78? Yeah, of course. There's a chance we hit 100,000 in July. Bitcoin have no top, fiat have no bottom. So keep that in mind. And Bitcoin can deliver a God candle effortlessly, which would take us to a new all-time high because price discovery is sitting at 73.8. So one God candle, bada boom, bada bing. We're right back on top, family, without missing a beat. Richard Jones, what it do? The Bitcoin shorts are running out of time. Better cover soon. The moving average and the oscillators are neutral and just about to go bye-bye. Looking at the Bone Shiba Swab and the K9 Finance, looks like they're doing some wild stuff, possibly in quarter three. Thank you, Crypto Today. Chance Bird, welcome to the stream. You got a beautiful name there, Chance.
Ashes of Cinderella, what I left behind goes to what's the most. Now I've come to find the blame's on me.
New Jammy Jam, let me know your feedback if you feel in the bass.
Through the shadows I see, rise from the ruins, my chance to be free. Yeah. Singing for the moment like Marshall Mathers in a digital fort. Feds better get your ladder, it's a new system. Oh yeah. Right now it's the people's money, it's the new style. Saving bees and making honey, detox from the dollar. Crypto ballers, holla.
Holla.
Take it, make it, save it.
Let's go, Lake the Great. Welcome, family. As we were left-handed by 3 months with the all-time high, I assume our next leg up will be a 3-month delay, and I do not expect price discovery until the eight more weeks, 2 months. Right on, Laser. Appreciate your thoughts. Bitcoin hits its all-time high prior to the halving. That's a first. Also, Bitcoin has never had this level of interest. That's right, institutional FOMO like a mofo. Lots of eyes on the sats, 100%. The world is watching BTC and crypto news alerts, just saying. Bruna, what up? What up? What's this dog? BRC20. Is that a new Bitcoin meme coin there, family? I'm not shady, though. This isn't Play-Doh. Ha! Love the lyrics. You at a 70s concert? Maybe, JBZ. The question is, are you at a 70s concert? Because you're here right now. Anyone going to the Pleb Party in Nashville, July 25th? Thanks, JV. Great team you got going on here. Good vibes. Thank you, Chance. How come you have such a huge joint just for you and you never inhaled? You know, I do what I do. You know what I mean? Got my sage going with yours, JV. We're all manifesting our pump. Go fam, go Bitcoin. Glory to God. Amen to that. I just noticed JV is holding his lighter up. Light is in the sky until my finger starts burning, and then I put that mofo out. It just is what it is. But anyways.
I'm not shady, though. This shit, it really matters, though. This isn't Play-Doh. Tired of banks and political. It's white flag. I will never. I'm Cinderella.
Happy 420. It's 420 right now. So let's continue with a little Bitcoin technical analysis. Welcome everyone just joining the stream. Pump the likes, pump the stream. And shout out to Dankness. What it do, brother? Always happy to see you, man. Happy Thursday. Anyone aping into the Hawk-Tuah? What does that even mean? Hawk-Tuah. Interesting name. That Sage fam. It's not a smoking thingy. Correct. That is not a joint. It may look like a joint to the untrained eye, but if you actually smoke joints, you'll recognize it's not a joint, and it's just an herb by the name of sage, and it helps bring in the good vibes. You feel me? I like to light that up as we usher in new all-time highs, price discovery mode, 6-figure Bitcoin price action, 7-figure milestones. You know how we do. Cheech and Chong style, 100%. Shout out to Cheech and Chong. I'm a big fan, by the way. You know what I mean? But anyways, here, let's dive into a little Bitcoin technical analysis. Check out the charts, where the price action is likely to go next. And if you want me to go into the live charts, we can do that as well. Let me know in the chat, family. I'll do whatever you guys request of me. So yeah, Bitcoin fell victim to large order book players on June 20th as a slow grind beyond 66,000 evaporated, as you can see here in the 1-hour chart. Data from TradingView showed Bitcoin hitting 66,455 on Bitstamp before the Wall Street Open. Those gains barely lasted, however, before an abrupt about turn sent Bitcoin a full 2,000 lower. Analyzing the latest movements, trading source material indicators put the blame firmly on the whale's door. Quoting him here. Fire chart shows whale spoofing bids in the order book. Monday's buy wall at 60,000 was pulled shortly after the daily open, and another buy wall that appeared at 66,000 seems to have disappeared in just 45 minutes. That's right. And live coverage of the Bitcoin order book, pairs from monitoring resource CoinGlass confirmed an area of around 64,250 as the new focal point for liquidity at this current time. And on a further topic of debate on the day came courtesy of confiscated Bitcoin belonging to the German government being moved on chain. That's right. As Dan Crypto Trades points out here, good example yet again. Can't remember a time where sell-offs, big or small, due to the government coins moving or selling, haven't marked some kind of local bottom. So let me know if you think the bottom is in. And as he outlines here, oh no, the German government is selling. Then we started ripping shortly after. CoinGlass confirmed both long and short Bitcoin positions, feeling the heat as a result of the day's volatility, with the short so far on the losing end. Meanwhile, the latest U.S. macro data provided mixed signals on progress versus inflation. Jobless claims for the week through June 15th came out at 238,000 versus the expected 235,000, down 5,000 from the prior week. And quoting them here, job openings are COVID and GFC lows, indicative of business and liquidity cycle lows, according to TED Talks Crypto. And here's the latest from Willy Woo. I know it sucks, but Bitcoin is not going to break the all-time high until more pain and boredom plays out. On the bright side, miners are capitulating, and when that is through, it nearly always ends in a huge rally. Look for compression in this ribbon, buy and hodl in these regions. And here he's referring to the Bitcoin hash ribbons. Now let's look at some of the live chart action. Just give me a second to change the scene out so you can see it better on your screen. Here we go. So yeah, you should be able to see right now this is live and in the flesh via TradingView using the exchange Coinbase. This is the 4-hour chart. You can see we're still hovering above 65,000. There is a target north sitting at 71,700-ish, and there is a target to the south sitting at $60,500. Let's zoom it out and get a broader perspective on the 1-day chart, and you're going to see a massive target. Let's see if it updates here. And this massive target in the blue is sitting at $106,500. Can you say send it? But we also do have a target all the way down sitting at 29,000. Now, personally, I feel we're way more likely to hit 100,000 than sub 30,000. So you can outweigh the risk reward ratio and move accordingly. And let's zoom in a little bit. Let's go to the 1-hour chart. As we can see here, the 1 hour also has a target sitting at 71,720 and a target south sitting at $61,800. And we're going to look at the 15-minute chart. And the 15-minute chart, as you can see on your screen, there's a lot of price action going on here. We do have a target around 65.6, approximately where we're at right now, maybe another $500. And we do have a target all the way down at 62.9, which is a bearish pennant. So there you go, crypto fam. Let me know your thoughts regarding some of the price action in the market right now. But anyways, fam, next story of the day, we're going to be discussing a supply shock as Bitcoin is drying up. Headline reads, Bitcoin Exchange Reserves metric hits 3-year low. That's right. The Bitcoin Exchange Reserve, the total amount of the biddies available on the exchanges, has dropped to a 3-year low, according to data from June 19, 2024. Crypto Quant revealed there are currently 2.8 million Bitcoin left on the exchanges, and during January of this year, the Bitcoin exchange balance hovered at around 3 million. Low exchange reserve, sometimes called the exchange balance, indicates low selling pressure and potential supply shock due to the relatively low supply available for purchase. And following the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs here in the US as of January 11th, accumulation from asset managers like BlackRock placed added pressure on the Bitcoin supply. And as of June 6th, BlackRock's IBIT held roughly 274,000 biddies. BlackRock's ETF is merely one of the 11 Bitcoin ETFs currently trading in the United States, and they're now the largest hodler of Bitcoin as far as institutions are concerned. And during May 2024, monthly inflows into digital asset funds reached $2 billion, primarily driven by the inflows into Bitcoin investment funds and products. And according to the June 17th CoinShares weekly fund flows report, Bitcoin investment vehicles hold nearly $73 billion in Bitcoin globally. However, that same report also revealed Bitcoin investment vehicles recorded $621 million in weekly outflows for the week of June 15th, 2024. This marked the largest and most significant outflows since the week of March 22nd, 2024. CoinShares theorized that the more hawkish than expected comments from the Fed, implying that the Fed would keep the interest rates high, led to a flight of capital from fixed supply assets such as Bitcoin. And despite the increased institutional interest, industry experts like Franklin Templeton CEO Jenny Johnson believe institutional adoption is not in full swing. In fact, speaking with CNBC, Johnson told her interviewer, "This is really the first wave of the early adopters, and I think the next wave is the much bigger institutions." My question is, what institution is larger than BlackRock. I thought that was the largest one in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong, family. But anyways, if Johnson's prediction turns out to be true, institutional capital will continue to flow into the biddies, placing additional pressure on the low exchange supply in the coming months. And additionally, Bitcoin supply is further constrained by the decrease of the block mining reward following the April 2024 halving event. And before the most recent halving, miners collected 6.25 Bitcoin for each block they successfully mined. Following the halving, miners now collect 3.125 BTC for successfully mining a block. So there you go. Crypto La Familia. A lot of good news to share with you. Let's discuss a big fat L for the SEC and everyone's least favorite chairman of the SEC, Mr. Gary G. Yeah, I mean, the United States Securities and Exchange Commission case to prove Ether is a security may not have been as strong as it led on. On June 19th, 2024, the SEC surprised the crypto industry when it officially closed its investigation into whether Ethereum is a security. Surprised? Or not surprised, let me know. Consensus lawyer Laura Brookover said there will be no more protestations from the SEC that Ether is a security. Brookover claimed that the SEC didn't willingly decide to drop the investigation. She said it was a reaction to being pushed to lift the subpoenas on Consensus, given their recent ETF rule change approvals predicted on ETH being a commodity. The letter from Consensus states that the SEC's approval of a spot Ether ETF indicated that it had updated its position to classify ETH as a commodity and not as a security. And the SEC has not publicly confirmed Consensus's thesis. Want to know why? Mr. No Claire Gare doesn't provide clarity regardless, because he's No Claire Gare. Anyways, Carol Forth, the professor at the University of Arkansas, shout out Arkansas, School of Law, specializes in business associations and securities regulation, shared the SEC's approval of a spot Ether ETF does not mean ETH is a commodity. So again, no clarity. Goforth said that the approval of an ETH has nothing to do, or ETF has nothing to do with whether the underlying asset is a security. She added, there are already ETFs with commodities as the underlying asset, quoting her here. Approval of an ETF has nothing to do with the appropriate classification of the underlying assets in which the fund invests. And if the spot Ether ETF approval doesn't necessarily force the SEC to demonstrate that ETH is a security, why did the SEC halt its investigation? Well, here's my theory. Ethereum Foundation and Consensus have been interwoven with the United States government for many, many years. Now, Goforth believes that the SEC's retreat is a pretty good indication. The agency does not believe it can convince the court that ETH is a security. Precisely. I think she nailed it there. She suspects the SEC concluded it would be difficult to prove that ETH is a security under the Howey investment contract test because of how widely the asset is held and traded and how much market forces dictate profitability, she said. The SEC may have wanted to avoid a discomforting defeat. Previous statements made by the SEC officials about the likelihood or likely classification of Ether might have been embarrassing to an agency that aims a classification is clear. And in 2018, the former SEC director, William Hinman, stated Ethereum was not a security. In his speech, he mentioned that decentralization plays a key role in this determination. The network and its operations were sufficiently decentralized. I disagree with that statement, just FYI. Meaning investors no longer expected a single entity to perform significant administrative efforts. The speech suggested Ethereum's status as a non-security was clear, contrasting with the SEC's ongoing scrutiny under Mr. Gensler. The crypto industry's main complaint is that the SEC has not consistently provided guidance on how the Howey test applies to Ethereum and other similar cryptos. So the crypto community may be happy that the SEC dropped its investigation. Goforth said it is really a positive development for the Ethereum network that SEC is not currently trying to assess that ETH is a security. However, she said that the letter from the SEC only states at this time, keywords, at this time. The SEC will not be continuing its investigation, that it is not a final determination. So maybe they'll change their mind tomorrow. You just never know with the SEC. Goforth believes it is too early to say the industry is winning, given the lingering uncertainties over the appropriate classification of most crypto assets. I mean, so there you go. I'm not going to read you this entire thing, but as you know, this has been an ongoing war between Ethereum and the SEC, and who really knows what's really going on behind closed doors, if you know what I mean. We're going to dive right into the next story because This is pretty crazy prediction. One of the highest Ethereum predictions I've ever shared. In fact, Van Eck, major asset manager, the analyst over there, is predicting a $154,000 ETH. We don't even have $154,000 biddy. So just use your imagination here with me. Hypothetically speaking, if Ethereum hit 154 Gs, according to this analyst I'm going to be sharing with you, where do you think that would send Bitcoin? What stratosphere? Good Lord. But yeah, I ain't making this up. Read this headline. Here's how Ethereum can skyrocket by up to 4,225%, according to Van Ex's Matthew Siegel. Must be maybe related to Steven Seagal, because this is some crazy Jean-Claude Van Damme-ish. Just saying. The head of the digital asset research at Van Eck is outlining how Ether can reach a price of 154 Gs, which the asset manager said is the bull case target. Definitely not a bear case target. In a report released weeks ago. In fact, on a recent interview on the Bankless pod, Siegel says Ethereum can reach a six-figure price by increasing its market share. Quoting him here, in that case, ETH would be capturing 90% of all the smart contract value intermediation. So the penetration rates get pretty chunky. So Ethereum essentially accounts for 15% of the total financial markets, and then 50% of the advertising market hosted on open source blockchains, and between 20 to 25% of information technology infrastructure and artificial intelligence going through open source blockchain. And according to Van Eck's head of digital asset research, the state of the global macro economy would also influence Ethereum's prospects of reaching that six-figure price, quoting them here. So I'd say in that world, probably emerging markets are doing very well, and that the US dollar is doing extremely poorly, and that the US regulatory state has either like fully embraced open source digital assets, which I think is unlikely, or you completely ceded them to other countries. And then in the bull case, Ethereum is capturing a pretty sizable percentage of value. And the report released earlier in the month, Van Eck set a base case target for Ethereum of 22,000. So again, base case, 22,000 for ETH, bull case, 154 Gs. And that means a potential gain of 518% on the base case. And to hit the bull case target, Ethereum would appreciate 4,225% from the current price. And to watch this crazy prediction from the Van Eck analyst, check the show notes below the video in the description. And now for fun, tell me, hypothetically, if we hit that Ethereum bull case, where would that send Bitcoin? Let me know, family. We still got some more to share. I got more bullishness. We're going to discuss the latest with MicroStrategy / Mr. Mikey Saylor with his new almost $800 million Bitcoin buy. And then we'll be discussing some latest predictions of Bitcoin hitting 200,000 this cycle, followed by $1 million by a particular year, according to the Bernstein analyst. And then we'll dive into some live Q&A. Welcome, everyone just joining the live stream. So yeah, first and foremost, shout out to the Giga Chad. Check this out. MicroStrategy buys an additional 11,931 biddies for $786 million. Shout out Mikey Saylor. And they now hold 226,331 biddies worth almost $15 billion. Mind-boggling, yo. So yeah, on June 20th, MicroStrategy officially announced the company completed its previously announced offering of 2.25% convertible senior notes due 2032. They're virtually just printing money out of thin air by borrowing it, and then at virtually like such small interest rates, which is mind-boggling. And then they're just purchasing mass amounts of Bitcoin with the borrowed money. This is what Max refers to as launching a speculative attack against the central bank and other corporate companies. They have the opportunity to do the same thing, follow the same blueprint. In fact, some companies actually are following this blueprint right now. The aggregate principal amount of the notes sold in the offering was $800 million, including $100 million in notes issued pursuant to an option to purchase. The announcement notes that the initial purchasers exercised the purchase agreement in full on June 17th, with another additional purchase occurring June 18th. The net proceeds from the sales of the notes were approximately $786 million after deducting the initial purchasers' discounts and commissions and estimated offering expenses payable by MicroStrategy. They intend to use the net proceeds from the sale of the notes to acquire additional biddies and for general corporate purposes. In a separate announcement, Saylor reported, or MicroStrategy, that it acquired an additional 11,931 biddies for $786 million using proceeds from the convertible notes and excess cash at the price of $65,800 per BTC. And as of June 20th, MicroStrategy holds a total of 226,331 BTC, acquired for roughly 8.33 B at the average price of $36,800 per BTC. Not a bad dollar cost average price, wouldn't you say? So they're absolutely crushing it. It means MicroStrategy is worth roughly $15 billion in Bitcoin at this time. MicroStrategy is one of the largest identified Bitcoin holders in the world, formerly led by its founder, Mr. Saylor. MicroStrategy entered the Bitcoin market back in August of 2020. How many of you were around back then? Holla. With a 250 million initial Bitcoin purchase. And since making Bitcoin its primary reserve currency in 2020, MicroStrategy has been regularly buying the biddies in batches. And in 2024, Saylor, who was also regularly announcing fundraisers targeting billions of dollars through private convertible notes, one such offering was completed in March of 2024, generating over $600 million to purchase 9,245 BTC. A few days before that sale, MicroStrategy completed a $800 million convertible note offering, adding 12,000 BTC to its Bitcoin treasury reserve. Despite the heavy investing in Bitcoin, which has surged roughly 700% since early 2020, MicroStrategy continued to report massive losses in 2024 with a reported net loss of 53 milli in the first quarter of this year. MicroStrategy has yet to adopt the new digital asset fair value counting standard, which would consider the Bitcoin price movement and the market value. And you already know Mr. Giga Chad Saylor is not going to be slowing down, stacking them sats and acquiring biddies anytime soon. His personal goal for MicroStrategy is to own 5% of the Bitcoin circulating supply, which means they would need roughly 1 million BTC. Again, they currently have now like 224,000, so have quite a ways to go. And you could only imagine, I believe they'll hit those goals, only a matter of time. And what's even more mind-boggling is how fast BlackRock accumulated over 300,000 BTC. They did that in 5 months since the Bitcoin e-test went live on January 11th. So MicroStrategy, it took them 4 years since 2020 to acquire 224,000 Bitcoin. BlackRock just achieved that in freaking 5 months. Let that sink in. And that doesn't even consider all the other Bitcoin ETFs such as, Fidelity, ARK21, VanEck, etc. Collectively, they now hold roughly 5% of the Bitcoin supply in 5 months because there's over 1 million Bitcoin worth of volume into the Bitcoin ETFs. And now we have the game theory. We have a Bitcoin ETF in Australia, Bitcoin ETF in Hong Kong. Soon we'll have a Bitcoin ETF in El Salvador, as the game theory continues. Now for our feature story of the day. Bernstein analysts are projecting a $200,000 Bitcoin price for this cycle peak due to the Bitcoin ETF flows. And they're also projecting a $1 million Bitcoin price by the year 2033. So I want to break this one down for you, family. Here you go. Analyst at research and brokerage firm Bernstein. Y'all remember the Bernstein Bears? I remember that book series as I was a child. Let me know if anyone else remembers those. But anyways, they say Bitcoin can reach nearly 200,000 by the end of the next year, following strong inflows into the spot US Bitcoin ETFs since their approval January 11th. This prediction is an upward revision from their previous target of 150 Gs. So they ultimately upped their projection for this cycle peak by 50,000, now projecting 200,000 per coin by 2025. Let me know if you agree or disagree. The analyst based this prediction on the assumption that spot Bitcoin ETFs may represent around 7% of the total circulating Bitcoin supply by the end of 2025. Quoting the analyst here, we see Bitcoin ETFs as on the cusp of approvals at major wirehouses / large private bank platforms in Q3, Q4. And they also wrote the institutional basis trade looks like the Trojan horse for adoption, and these investors are in the process of evaluating net long positions. The analyst said that currently nearly 80% of the spot Bitcoin ETF flows come from self-directed retail investors through broker platforms, while institutional integrations with wirehouses are still in their infancy. Around $15 billion of net flows have been brought in by the ETFs combined. We expect Bitcoin ETFs to be equivalent to 7% of the Bitcoin in circulation by 2025 and 15% of the Bitcoin supply by 2033, which is ultimately when they're projecting a $1 million Bitcoin price. Quoting them again, we expect the spot Bitcoin ETFs to touch 190 billion in assets under management by 2025 market peak and that's trillion by 2033. So let's freaking go. The analyst also suggested the Bitcoin price has entered a new bull cycle driven by the recent Bitcoin halving. They expect new catalysts to emerge that will drive demand for the asset. Quoting them here, we believe Bitcoin is in a new bull cycle. The halving presents a unique circumstance where natural Bitcoin sell pressure from the miners declines by half or even more as the inventory, more anticipation, while the new catalyst for Bitcoin demand arises, leading to exponential price moves, we'll send it. And apart from the capital flows into the spot ETFs for Bitcoin, Bitcoin has seen significant institutional funds pouring in. And as I already shared with you, MicroStrategy continuing to stack them sats with their recent 780 million. Bitcoin buy now holding 226,331 BTC on the balance sheet. So there you have it, my crypto fam. Let me know your thoughts surrounding Bernstein analysts projecting Bitcoin hitting 200,000 for the cycle peak in 2025 and Bitcoin hitting $1 million by 2033. My personal prediction, which I often share here in the show, is for the bear scenario for this particular cycle, I'm projecting Bitcoin hitting 222,000. And then for my bull scenario, as high as 750,000 per BTC, which in my personal opinion, I feel would most likely be in 2025. But I want to know your thoughts. Don't be shy, and I'll read as many of the comments out loud. But how long to get to 1 trillion? A trillion is 1,000 billion, so you need to be counting for 31.7 thousand years to count $1 trillion. Wow, $1 per second would take 31,000 years. Insane math. It just goes to show you how crazy these numbers are. And consider right now, United States is like 34.5 trillion in debt. The entire market cap all-time high is only like 3 trillion, just to put things into perspective. So the debt here is mind-boggling. So glad you're back. Happy to be here, Nicholas, and thank you for the support. We need to dip down from the snag, that liquidity at 60 to 63. Send it. Bernstein bearish, pretty much, but they're a big institution. I think they're going to be conservative like many of them are, but it is what it is. We even have Standard Chartered Bank very bullish for this cycle, as they should be. Of course, we're witnessing history in the making. This is unprecedented. We can foresee what's going to happen unless you're living under a rock, right? Bitcoin will continue to increase your purchasing power. It's a mathematical certainty. There's no denying it. And all assets will eventually return to their true intrinsic value, especially the fiat currency monopoly tulip bowl money, which is zero. Welcome to the Q&A segment of the live show. Shout out Ricky Norwood. 200,000 by the end of 2025 would be fantastic. Greetings from Instable. Shout out Engine. Welcome to the live stream, brother. Shout out Grant and Brian. Appreciate you, fam. That's sick. I appreciate the resources. The description was proper today. Good to note. Shout out Ted. I may have gotten it figured out, family. What happened to that debt ceiling? Right? If they end the Fed, we'd be able to pay off the sovereign debt in one fell swoop. I think but it's all by design. They want the country in debt. It seems they're purposely just trying to destroy the country. Does anyone feel that same way? Let's just print as much money as possible and give it away to other countries and pretend we're solving the other country problems. And let's just ignore all our own personal problems here in America. Doesn't it seem to be this way? It's very interesting. If they end the Fed, you never know. Good evening. Welcome, Chris. Good afternoon. Good morning. JV, I like your Bitcoin prediction. Seems reasonable. Thank you. I like to consider myself a reasonable guy, but there's no guarantee with price action, family. And this is not investment advice. I like to make that very clear. This show is for entertainment purposes only. BLX weekly, since the inception of 2009, Bitcoin on average goes up 2 fib levels. Post-halving, the 1.114 equals $400,000 biddy, and then the 1.236 equals a $3 million biddy, all before the next halving. Send it. 3 million sounds sexy to me. I covered that target a couple of pod episodes ago with Max Kaiser, the high priest, ultimately projecting Bitcoin tapping into a 400 trillion total addressable market with a 1% allocation. He said he'll send Bitcoin to $123 million per coin. Let me know if you agree, fam.